Today's video, we're going to be doing a walk around and a review of Ford Super Duty F550. If you watch my channel, I'm doing a series of reviews on all my equipment, and this is just a video for the 550 trucks. I have a 2019. It has 90,000 miles. I bought it brand new. I've seen one check engine light, one issue with it. It was the DEF system went out. They had to replace it. That was at 10,000 miles, and ever since then, we've had no issues with this truck. So a quick list of pros with these trucks. Obviously, they're extremely heavy duty. I had a GMC 1-ton before this, and that truck was nothing compared to these trucks. These trucks basically don't squat, even if you exceed your payload by a few thousand pounds. All we do is really heavy aggregate, stone, gravel, sand, stuff like that majority of the time, so it's really important that we're not squatting or pushing our trucks too hard. In this one we have about a 5-yard body, and I have put about 6 yards of gravel in it before. It seemed to handle it just fine. Boy, this truck's riding fucking great. Another benefit with these trucks is their turning radius. The turning radius is unbelievable. Actually, I have like a sedan car, and it actually turns better than a sedan car. It turns better than any truck I've ever drove. Honestly, any car that I've ever drove too. If you're like me, I'm constantly forgetting things. I always have to do U-turns in the road, and these things are awesome for that. Anytime I'm sanding parking lots, trying to get in between cars, it's extremely handy to be able to turn on a dime. And if you can't do that, it's kind of sucks. So that's definitely a benefit with these trucks. Looks wise, I know they're not like the prettiest trucks or anything. They're not like a luxury truck, but I think they look pretty good. Let me know down below if you think the black looks better than the white. I think the black does, but might be just because it's new. One thing you absolutely need to get when you get these trucks is a good set of wheel wells. I ran this truck without wheel wells for years, and I mean the frame's honestly pretty good. I think Ford does a really good job. I have a GMC with half the miles and doesn't even have a sander in it that is like 10 times worse than this. It doesn't even make any sense how bad it is, but you know, the frame of this truck's actually really good. I mean, obviously the dump body frame's pretty bad and getting bad, but these wheel wells I've noticed this winter have been huge help, and I'll never make the mistake of not having them ever again. Obviously these are powerstroke diesels. I do have a 7.3 and I like that and everything, but hauling heavy, you know, when you're hauling skid steer, hauling a lot of gravel, I think the powerstroke is still a pretty big upgrade from the 7.3. So with my old truck, this 2019, I have a 6-speed, which I love. It engine brake's phenomenal. Seems to not matter what you're hauling, it just carries on and goes, and there's no issue with power at all. This truck is equipped with a 10-speed, and I have a 10-speed on my 7.3, and I actually hate it. Hoping it's not the same issues. It like floats all around gears like crazy, and not a big fan of that. But I really haven't, obviously don't have a dump body on it, so I haven't hauled serious weight with this truck. So that'll be a question for next year, if this truck can actually haul weight with a 10-speed versus the 6-speed. One bad thing about these trucks is the tires. There's not many options online, and the options that you do have are extremely expensive. Ford made the bright idea to make a custom 19.5-inch wheel, and there's like nothing out there for tires. There's no good gripping snow tires really. These are some toils we bought, believe it or not. Both sets here, so 12 tires was literally like 10 grand, maybe a little bit more than that. It was crazy, but just for the tires, no rims. Not really many options, so that's definitely a downgrade with this, but definitely beats a GMC truck, anything like that. So basically with the big Chevys they're coming out with now, I mean, you have a shittier turning radius and you're a lot higher. These trucks are still small as a 1-ton. They can turn better than a 1-ton. Look at the interior of the cab. They're both basically the same. This one, like I said, is brand new. It's 2022. I think there's one difference. In the 2019, this is closed. That's really about it as far as difference. This one is an electric, four-wheel drive. You still have locking hubs. And that one, it's on the floor, manual. Yeah, obviously no miles on this, 318. So it's pretty clean right now. We have obviously a backup camera that I usually put always running, no matter what. Just kind of makes it easier for our guys. So obviously with this 2019, it's a lot more dirty, but I wanted to show you the actual auxiliaries that we use. So we have 3 sections of lights, 2 for the dump body, 1 for the actual plow light that's on top of the roof. 1's for the camera, and we have heated windshield wipers, which is a huge plus. If you guys snow plow or do any sanding or anything like that, heated windshield wipers are a big saver. You never have to get out and actually scrape off your windshield wipers. I mean, if you plow, you know what I'm talking about. And then obviously this is for the sander and the plow to work. So that's another big thing with Ford that I like, is all the easy auxiliary inputs. Very simple. With our GMC, we had to literally drill aftermarket switches, and they break and they suck. So definitely Ford has this much better over GM right now. Obviously it's pretty bad visibility in this truck, but with no dump body on that truck, it's really good. Well, obviously in the winter, these are sand trucks. They don't really plow. I mean, I have plows for them, but we do most of our plowing at all of our spots with skid steers. So these really have plows just for backups. But like I said, I'm very impressed with the frame. You know, I got 90,000 on this. This has been a 100% salt truck for years, and the frame is honestly pretty mint. I mean, we fluid film it every year, but you know, that's pretty damn good. I mean, if you saw my GMC, I'll probably throw a video on. My GMC is trash and has half the miles and it doesn't even salt, so it doesn't even make any sense. So I think GM's kind of skimping on that. But if you're looking for a small but capable truck, these things are perfect. They still have 4-wheel drive, obviously. They go anywhere. They're very small still, small and strong, so they can get into any job. Obviously the entertainment system, I think this is like an XL package, but nothing special. No touchscreen, anything like that. It's not like a luxury truck by any means. Definitely a downfall with these trucks is how they ride. I mean, obviously it's a pretty heavy duty truck, so you can't expect it to ride that good, but they do ride like crap, especially empty. When there's weight in it, they actually ride pretty good, but when you're empty, hold on, especially with this truck. There's not even a bed on it, because they're pretty bumpy and you'll throw your back out if you're not careful. I have an F550 that rides a little bit worse, but these are about the worst riding trucks I've ever driven. But yeah, other than that, I love these trucks. They're by far my favorite truck of all time. I had a 1-ton GMC that would, if you put payload in it, it could barely even move. It would squat like you wouldn't believe. We actually only put 60,000 miles on it, and the transmission went at 50. And they were supposed to fix the transmission, but it was still slipping even after it was fixed, and they refused to put a brand new one in it. And we sold that thing because it had a bunch of issues with 60,000 miles. And these things, like I said, I mean, I got 90,000 on this thing right now, and it literally rides the exact same as the brand new one does. It's no serious issues, so I don't see why this can't last another 100,000 miles.